Arsenal smashed Tottenham. North London derby, chat. They smashed up Tottenham in their back garden. They go 8 points clear at the top. Talk to me. I want to know Patrick first because Patrick, he was at the game yesterday and then his phone got turned off. And
No,
everything
I was
else.
active. I was on my phone.
No, I know you were, bro. How do you feel? The viewers have been waiting for this. How you feeling, bro? How you feeling about getting the pace in, being out of the title race? I mean, you said you were finishing 10 points above Arsenal this season.
I got that one wrong. I never put us in the title race, so that one I can't. It's not on me. But you know what? First and foremost, well done to Arsenal. Like, you know, I'm not being disingenuous here. They were fantastic. I was watching the game, and if we take it back to the beginning, Conte putting two men in the midfield against probably the best trio in the league at the moment in terms of how they're performing, Odegaard, Xhaka, and Partey. We just got ran all over. We couldn't get near the ball. And this is what, when I said about this a couple of weeks ago, for me, the best managers also have to be ones that can manage on their feet, you know, make changes as the game's going on, be astute tactically and adapt to the game. And I could see it from where I'm sitting. You know, I'm not a football mastermind. I'm not a professional coach in any shape or form. And if I can see we're getting man all over, how can't he see that? Someone that's paid 15 million and is considered one of the best managers in the world. They were running all over us. And don't get me wrong as well. They were so, like, in terms of the passing, it was so slick, so precise. They didn't really make any mistakes. And, you know, and when we got the ball, there's only two in midfield and we're giving it away. We're getting rushed and hounded and hampered. And so that was the first thing that I could see from where I was that was way off. And then, fuck me, Hugo Lloris yet again. How many times is this guy going to make a clanger and just... like, honestly, Terry, the thing is, I backed this guy. And, you know, for me, he was a top goalkeeper, one of the best in the world, fantastic shot stopper. For all his flaws in distribution, not being able to command his box on corners, you know, not being the most loudest, and you know he's not a big goalkeeper to begin with, but his shot stopping abilities was always second to none. Now he's lost that, and he's just making silly mistakes. Even for the second goal when Odegaard scored from, like, you know, the halfway line, no one closing down. Fantastic shot by Odegaard, but there's no way he should have been uncontested. It was Hugo Lloris that put Doherty under pressure by releasing a bad ball, and then obviously Arsenal pressed. But yeah, there's so many things. But in terms of Arsenal, fair play to them, man. Best team in the league comfortably now. They've pretty much passed every test. You know, we was like, oh, what happens when they play Man City? What happens when they play Tottenham away? What happens when they do this, that? They passed every test. I don't want to hear nothing, no chat from Arsenal fans now, no sitting on the fence. You lot need to go on and win the league now. You can't bottle it from this position. You can't bottle it from this position. You bottled fourth last year. You're, what, 8 points clear, 7 points clear of City, 13 or 14 points clear of us in fifth. You have to win it now. No excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses about depth, no excuses about missed out on transfer signings, no excuses, oh, this is a young team and we're not sure, and Arteta's. No, like, you have to win it now. And if you don't, it will be a travesty, considering how good you are, that you're champions elect. All I see on Twitter, and people just keep messaging me this, that, and the third. Yeah, just go and win it now. That's it.
Patty, question. Do you think they'll win it?
I do. Unfortunately, I do. And again, it's such... I don't know what's going on, man. It's like I'm living in a nightmare, because the time that Arsenal, and don't get me wrong, Arsenal fantastic. They've grown into this. Like, they've done it actually the right way, if we're being honest. Like, Arteta was eighth. He got given time. He was allowed to make the changes that he wanted. Brought in players, like even Jess has said, like, some of them weren't his top transfer targets, but they were allowed to grow into the game. But also at the same time, I can't believe the decline of Man City and Liverpool. So it's like, it's just mad, because one team have progressed so much and all other teams have regressed. And I'm just hoping, for my sake, that United can do something, because City looks shot, Liverpool looks shot. So Arsenal are the best team in the league, and other teams have just imploded. So it's just crazy.
We will go on. I'll say we'll come back to Tottenham. I want to speak about Tottenham and Conte a bit later. We'll stay on Arsenal. Go on, Jess, over to you.
No, the only thing I was going to say is, like, I think we have to, like, end all this talk about, excuse me, the way the league is, and this team is not good and this team is not good. You guys do realize that Manchester City and Liverpool have been dominant in a Premier League or there hasn't been a strong Arsenal, Manchester United, and it was an okay Chelsea. So like in every single league, there's like 2 or 3 teams that are really good and some fall off. This season it's Chelsea and Liverpool. So I don't want to hear all this,
City have fallen off as well, though, because City don't usually lose games like that, and City aren't this bad at this moment in time, so they have fallen off.
Manchester City are not that bad right now. I mean, they're tracking to what
they are.
They're tracking.
I wish I was Man City.
No, hold on, they're tracking to still mid-90s in points.
I don't know. I can't see
They
that.
may not be their sparkling best. They may not get a 99 points, but I get what people are trying to do. They're trying to make it seem like this league is a lot worse. It's really not. It's always
it is.
No, but
to be honest, no, you guys hold on really quick. Manchester United are also tracking to mid-90s points. Mid-90s points tracking. Manchester United, Newcastle, it's not that weak. Just because your teams are not good doesn't mean the league.
I'm sorry, but not many teams get mid-90s points, so no team's tracking to mid-90s. I'm not hearing that in the first place. Man City only had 3 losses the whole of last season. At the moment, they already hit 3 losses. So they're already doing just as bad as they are for the whole of last season. We're not saying that City are horrible. We all know that City is still a very good team. They signed a very good player, and we all expected Haaland to push them on to be a better team.
So because Manchester City aren't as good as they were last season, it's weaker. That's basically what you're
The Premier League's weaker. Well, generally, yeah, because we're looking at.
What about Newcastle and Manchester United? Who are
I don't know if it's weaker. No, this is two different arguments, Jess.
The thing with that logic is this, though. I could make an argument, a very frivolous one. The only reason all of you man have been better than the only reason that all these teams have been winning the league in the last decade is because Man United fell off. If Man United hadn't fallen off, then we'd still be winning all the leagues. That's not how it works. Like by that logic,
You're taking it too far back, though, Terry. We're just simply talking about from our expectations from the start of the season. Going into the
I see what they're trying to do. I see what you guys are trying to do. It's not.
Can I just say something? Can I just finish?
Sorry, taking away from what Arsenal are doing.
People do this all the time, right? I keep seeing some Arsenal fans started to, this is the hardest era of the Premier League ever. I'm like, no. 2004 to 2013, that 9-year period, from the Invincible through to Fergie's last title, was the most difficult time in Premier League history because every year there was 4 teams capable in England of winning the Champions League. Every year, the English teams are looked at by our European counterparts as being good enough for that tournament. And at the start of the year, everybody was in for a shout to win that league in one way, shape, or form. Now, in the last 5, 6, 7, it's been 1 or 2 teams every year genuinely capable of winning the league. And I get your point that City aren't as good as they were last year. Liverpool and Chelsea's drop-off is massive. But I don't see how you can take that away from Arsenal because their current performance is the greatest in their club's history. And they're ahead of the vast majority of the title-winning teams after the first 18 games. They're pretty much on par with the last decade.
You know what? I didn't take any.
Man United. If we were drawing and losing a bunch of games and we were still on top, we've lost 1 game, you guys.
I know. And
Man United are better. Newcastle are better. Brighton are better. Brentford are better. All these teams, I'd say I think what you guys are saying is I'd say that the highest in terms of Liverpool and Man City, they've dropped in performance, but I'd say the actual medium level of the Premier League has increased. I'd argue.
To be fair, only people who've really dropped off based off actual standards that we're talking about from the beginning of the season is Chelsea and Liverpool. Even Tottenham, they're in and around probably the same points that they were last year. If you look at the points.
Correct. Yeah, we are.
So that's what we're saying, though. Liverpool and Chelsea are 2 of those teams.
One second.
So now Manchester United and Newcastle are there.
My main point is to say this is a poor league or to say it's a poor season because Arsenal are currently doing what we're doing.
No one said it was a poor season.
You're basically discrediting Arsenal right now.
We didn't say that.
Manchester City have fallen off a cliff because they've gotten 3 losses already, and you're saying Newcastle and Manchester United's rise is basically because everyone else has also been bad.
No one said that. You've literally just took a whole different point and took it somewhere else. You simply said that Man City have not been as good as they were last season. And Liverpool and Chelsea. So based on that, George, let me finish the point so you can actually
what is you've already said the point.
You guys are getting defensive. You're taking it somewhere else. We're simply acknowledging the fact that Man City have dropped in a level. You guys are taking advantage of that, and you're playing better than them right now. We can all acknowledge that. You're playing better. You're in a position you deserve because you've lost the least amount of games. No one's taking that away from you. But the league level, that top 4 teams, the teams that were in the top 4 last season, the big clubs, no one expected them to be this bad. And the level that they've dropped off in has been massive. And that's why.
Sorry, Jay, but what is the point? Because I'll give you an example. Man United won the league in 1994 with 92 points. A year later, Blackburn won it with about high 80s. Does that mean Blackburn, they're like slightly undeserving because United dropped off a little bit? Like,
no one said Arsenal undeserving. I don't get why you
No, I'm not being defensive. I'm asking for you to make your point. You've not made a point yet.
We're getting there, and every time you guys jump in, because you're getting defensive about it.
I didn't even land what I was trying to say. I actually think the league is better this season. I actually think the league is better, but the top echelon of teams are not where they were last year. But if you look at the league, anyone's beating everyone. Brighton are much better. Newcastle clearly better. Fulham are even up there right now. The actual level of the league has increased. But if you're looking at City, they're not the same City. Liverpool are not the same Liverpool. These are the 2 teams that we all expected to be going toe-to-toe. No one expected Arsenal to be in this position. But Arsenal clearly, and again, you can only quote what I said. I clearly said it earlier. Arsenal are the best team in the league right now. It's clear. Like, there's no denying that. I'm not saying that the level of the Premier League has dropped. It actually hasn't. It's got better. But the fact is that all the other teams are not where they need to be right now. And that's why Arsenal are where they are.
I think because of Arsenal, like going from like a 5th place team to top of the league should also show people that things change quite quickly, and the good teams become the good teams very quickly, and the not so good teams become not so good very quickly. I think for me, like when I'm hearing this, I'm like, so are we being disingenuous to Manchester United and Newcastle? If the points totals are not lower in general from like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, if the points totals at this point in the season are not lower, or Arsenal are not, 15 points clear and everybody else is like, all scrambling. For me, it's just the teams have changed, but the league is still the same. But the good teams are different now. They're just different teams, but the quality has not went down.
In terms of after 18 games, I want to put that this season, Arsenal 47, City 39, Newcastle, Man United are both on 38 points each. Spurs, by the way, are actually 5 points ahead of where they were last year. Ironically, considering the run that you've been on, you had 28 points after 18 games. You're now on 30. You're 19 games, but 33 points. Go back to last year though. After 18 games, I'm just going to wait for this to load in front of me. Top of the table had 44 points, so we're 7 points. Sorry, 3 points worse. Liverpool were second with 41 points. Chelsea with 38 points. Arsenal fourth with 32 points. So it's similar to what it's now. 4th place weren't quite as good. And then a drop-off was like West Ham with 28 points. United with 27. Actually, Spurs had 26. You're actually 7 points better this year than you were last year.
You're worse than us by this point last year. That is bad. We
had Nuno
was the manager, weren't he?
Oh, yeah. Nuno for 10 games. Nuno for 10 games.
Wow. This super chat here says Spurs fans are shameless, always make excuses, so their team hears their excuses and never raises their levels. Arsenal had just 1 loss and 2 draws. Paul and City have nothing to do.
It's like people just want to hear what they want to hear. There's no excuses.
We both acknowledge that. I feel like we both acknowledge
it's crazy.
Arsenal being
How many times can I clear up? Yeah, it's so mad.
Let me.
Them 2 guys over there.
Again,
I can't do it. That way. Them 2 guys. Don't forgive me.